In the vast expanse of ancient texts, few endings are as enigmatic and thought-provoking as the final chapters of the Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible. Imagine, if you will, a book that begins with the creation of the world and ends with a call to rebuild a temple, only to loop back to the beginning. This is not just a narrative twist. It's a theological and literary masterpiece that challenges our understanding of time, history, and the divine. The books of Chronicles, Ezra, and Nehemiah form a circular narrative that seems to defy the linear progression of history, suggesting instead an eternal cycle of human and divine interaction. This video will explore the significance of this unique structure, its implications for the relationship between God and Israel, and the enduring beauty of David's final prayer. The Tanakh, also known as the Hebrew Bible, is a collection of sacred texts that form the foundation of Judaism. It is divided into three main sections: the Torah, the first 5 books of Moses; the Nevi'im, the prophets; and the Ketuvim, the writings. The books of Chronicles, Ezra, and Nehemiah are part of the Ketuvim, and are placed at the very end of the Tanakh. However, their placement is not merely a matter of chronological order. It is a deliberate editorial choice that creates a powerful literary and theological statement. The books of Chronicles open with a detailed genealogy that traces the lineage of humanity from Adam to the Babylonian exile. This genealogy serves as a prologue, setting the stage for the historical narrative that follows. From 1 Chronicles 10 to the end of 2 Chronicles, the text recounts the history of Israel from the rise of King David to the fall of Jerusalem. The book of 2 Chronicles concludes with a brief but significant passage about the decree of King Cyrus of Persia, which allowed the Jewish exiles to return to Jerusalem and rebuild the temple. This passage is identical to the opening verses of the book of Ezra, creating a seamless transition between the two texts. The repetition of these verses at the end of 2 Chronicles and the beginning of Ezra is more than just a literary device. It is a key that unlocks the deeper meaning of the Tanakh. By ending with a call to return and rebuild, the Tanakh suggests that the story of God and Israel is not a linear progression, but a cyclical one. Just as the Jewish calendar is an endless cycle of religious holidays that commemorate key events in Israelite history, the Tanakh itself becomes a living text that invites the reader to revisit and relive the story of God's covenant with His people. This cyclical structure is particularly evident in the books of Ezra and Nehemiah, which continue the narrative of the return from exile and the rebuilding of Jerusalem. These books are a complex tapestry of original material, reproduced Persian documents, and editorial additions, reflecting the diverse and often chaotic nature of the post-exilic period. Despite their complexity, Ezra and Nehemiah maintain a cohesive theme: the restoration of God's people and the renewal of their covenant with Him. At the heart of this restoration is the figure of King David, whose legacy looms large throughout the Tanakh. David's final speech in 1 Chronicles 28-29 is a poignant and powerful moment that encapsulates the themes of faith, leadership, and divine providence. In his speech, David acknowledges that building the temple is not his task, but his son Solomon's. He entrusts Solomon with the plans and materials for the temple, emphasizing the importance of serving God with a pure heart and unwavering faith. This moment, which we might call the kiss of the Tanakh, is a beautiful expression of intergenerational faith and the continuity of God's covenant. David's farewell prayer is a masterpiece of biblical poetry that captures the essence of the relationship between God and Israel. He praises God for his greatness, power, and glory, acknowledging that all things come from God and that his people are mere sojourners on earth. David's prayer is a humble acknowledgement of God's sovereignty and a heartfelt expression of gratitude and devotion. It is a moment of profound intimacy and tenderness, a fatherly benediction that bridges the gap between the divine and the human. The significance of David's prayer lies not only in its content, but also in its placement. As the Tanakh ends, the reader is left with this powerful image of a king who, in his final moments, turns to God in prayer and entrusts the future to his son. This moment of transition is a microcosm of the larger theme of the Tanakh, the enduring covenant between God and his people. The cycle of return and rebuilding, of exile and restoration, is a testament to the unbreakable bond between God and Israel. The circular structure of the Tanakh also has important aesthetic and theological implications. By ending with a call to return and rebuild, the Tanakh suggests that the story of God and Israel is not a closed book, but an open invitation to participate in the ongoing work of redemption. This structure resonates with the cyclical nature of Jewish liturgy, which celebrates the same events year after year, reinforcing the idea that the past is not just history, but a living memory that continues to shape the present. In conclusion, the unique structure of the Tanakh, with its cyclical narrative and powerful ending, invites us to see the story of God and Israel as a living, breathing text that defies the boundaries of time and history. The final words of the Tanakh, "Let him go up," are not an end but a beginning, a call to action that echoes through the ages. The Tanakh, in its literary and theological brilliance, is a testament to the enduring power of faith and the unbreakable bond between God and his people.